everyone, it's Marg here again, ready for our next lesson number 3, Lessons in Lockdown of our series, Be the Change Makers. I am sitting outside at the back of my apartment. It's a beautiful sunny day, getting some fresh air. We are in Melbourne, Australia. We are in stage 3 lockdown, but we're still allowed to come outside, get the fresh air, get in the sun. And we all know that this is really good for our mental health. So as much as you possibly can, get that fresh air into you. I'm also out here with my ducky friends. I'll show them to you in a minute. There's a beautiful little creek out the back of our apartment block, and the ducks come and paddle there, so I'll show them to you. But right now it's time for you to get your notebooks and your pens, because we're about to move into lesson 3, and this is Let's Thank the Change Makers. So, lesson 3 is all about coming back to who do we consider to be the change makers. Do you remember in lesson 1 we talked about role models, and you had time then to sit and think, well, who are the role models out there that bring about change? So let's just cast our minds back there. If you haven't done lesson 1 already, you can go back and do it now, and lesson 2, or you can just keep going here with lesson 3. That's fine as well. Let's just stop and think, who are the change makers in the world at the moment? Now, a lot of you told me for you it was Greta Thunberg. And it's pretty easy to see why you chose her, because here's a young woman who has influenced millions of people, young and older, to take more action for climate change. In actual fact, to challenge your governments to take more action for climate change. Another person we might think of would be Malala. Now, Malala came from Pakistan, and she is a young person fighting for women's rights, particularly in the area of education. I'll give you a couple more. So Emma Watson, who you would know, who plays Hermione in Harry Potter series. Do you remember she made that talk at the United Nations, the He for She campaign? If you haven't seen it, go and watch it. A fascinating speech. Here's a name you may or may not know. So this young man, his name is Boyan Slat. He is definitely worth looking at, because he has gone to extraordinary lengths to build a team to create something they call the ocean cleanup. They are cleaning up the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, obviously in the Pacific Ocean, that we have all contributed to. So these are extraordinary young change makers. But don't forget some of the oldies as well. So let's look at Leonardo DiCaprio. So he's a very, very famous actor. I'm sure you would know him, and he probably will be upset with me putting him in the oldie category. But again, he's doing amazing things. He's putting time and money into environmental campaigns and really, really making a difference. If you've ever heard of Jane Goodall, please look her up as well. She dedicated so much of her life towards working with the rainforest gorillas, and has done amazing things again for helping us understand how we need to treat animals in a very different way. So kudos to all of them, for they are the change makers. But I'm about to challenge you with some other thoughts, because quite often we actually know people who are doing amazing things. They're either part of our family or our friendship group or friends of friends. So they're much, much closer to home than these celebrities. They are doing exactly the same kind of incredible things that these famous people are doing, and yet they're not famous. So I want you to stop and think, well, who is it that you know, that you believe could be called a change maker? Somebody really within your kind of closer, your vicinity. I'm going to pause the video for now, and that's your first challenge. As a family group, stop and have a conversation. And yes, it may well be you who is already a change maker. And if it is, please be prepared to speak up and put your name in there as well. I'll be back in 2 minutes. I'm going to share with you 2 stories of people that I actually do highly regard as being change makers. So this first one, this is Alice Starr. Now, together with her business partner Phil Garuzzo, they run something called Loop Growers. So Alice and Phil are part of a growing dynamic community of regenerative farmers. These are people who are farming differently to the way that traditional farmers do their work. And they have a different kind of relationship with the land. They believe that the land needs to be nurtured. They do everything possible to recycle every part of what they do. They build community by going out and selling directly to restaurants and cafes and small businesses. And everything that comes out, what we would regard as waste, they regard as useful product. And they bring it back to the farm and they use every single part of it. And it becomes a cycle, what they call a loop. And they are doing extraordinary things to change the way that we are now growing food and sustaining ourselves, sustaining our living. So well done to Alice and Phil. Secondly, I want to tell you the story of this group. So these 3 young men, this is Naz and Ali and Nasser, and they're very good friends of mine. Now, all 3 of them came to Australia only a few short years ago from Afghanistan. So they came as refugees, and within no time at all, they set about building a group. They've called it Afghan Australia Initiative, AAI, and it is all about building community, building trust. It is about bringing peace into the lives of Afghan refugees who come to Australia, and it's also about peace building for all Australians. So again, these are extraordinary change makers, and I really can't sing their praises enough. I wonder who it was that you chose, and I would love for you to write some answers into the comment box below. But here comes the part that becomes a bit of, well, let's call it homework, dare I say it. It's not homework that will ever be marked or graded, but it is important that you do this. So one of the things that these change makers really, I believe, really need is support from us. And the most simple way that we can do that is to say thank you. So your homework becomes to choose at least 2 of the people that you spoke about or wrote down in your notes. Hopefully you're going to choose more. 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 would be fantastic. And all I'm asking you to do is to send them an email or a letter, some way, or ring them up even, or make a little video like this and send it to them. Wouldn't that be beautiful? And you just need to say thank you, and you need to say why you are thanking them. What is it about what they're doing impresses you, inspires you, motivates you to do something yourself? Now here's one more challenge, and that is to add onto your thank you list at least one of those famous people that you talked about in your family group. You might think they don't need this kind of thanks, that they already get so many accolades from all sorts of people. But you would be very, very surprised how much it means to them, because after all, famous people, dare I say it, are just another human being after all. The same emotions, the same sense of gratitude when they hear someone telling them that they have made a difference in your life. So choose one of those famous people and 2, 3, 4, or 5 of the people that you do know or who are closer to you, and get thanking them. That would be fantastic. Hope to see you soon. Cheery blessings from Marg. Here come the ducks.